Oh my god, guys. Okay. I just made two 20-minute videos. The first one had no audio. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. The second one, the way the camera was, if I had uploaded that video, I would have been like this on you guys' screen. So, don't mind my double chin. Anyway, okay. So, disclaimer, don't smoke, it's bad. Ignore all my clothes. It's, there's a bag. Ignore all my clothes. I need to do some laundry. Like, I need to do some laundry, and then there's a crap ton of clean ones, like, stacked up on the couch, because there's glass in my closet. A picture frame broke. I can't really put them away just yet. And my vacuum broke, so, like, I can't vacuum the glass. That's my life. Hey, girl. Okay. As you guys know, I video record with the camera up against my window facing me, which means I am looking out my window awkwardly, and there's people who walk by and they're like what's going on in there? I live in an apartment complex. People are weird here. That's fine. But I do it for the lighting. Like, that's weird. Okay, it's weird how it gets dark back there. Anyway, I want to talk about emetophobia today. I severely have it. Okay, I have it, but from time to time, I severely have it. And it is more common than most people think. It's not everybody knows it's even a thing, but it is. I didn't know it was a thing either until I realized I had it. So what it is the fear of, I look like a ghost. My other ones weren't this light. What it is the fear of, really quick, oh my god, I can't win. Really quick, disclaimer, there will be some trigger words in here. Everybody has trigger words or trigger actions that can trigger anxiety for them. Hope you like my jazz music playing. So, just so you know, and don't worry, a lot of the words that may come up are trigger words for me too. I get hot on my face even thinking about it. So, it's the fear of throwing up in a nutshell. Yes, I know nobody likes to do it, but that doesn't mean you have it if you don't like to do it. It's when you don't like to do it so much that you let it control your life and you obsess over it. You worry over it so much, and if you're like me, you'd rather chop your arm off and maybe a couple like toes, I don't know, than throw up, okay? Now, that's the difference. It's like when you're so afraid of a clown that you don't even want to look at one. It makes your heart race and it makes you kind of shake a bit, okay? But there's a lot of things that people should know about this phobia. One, it's more common in children. Most adults who have it started having it as a child. People who have it have a significantly less chance of getting it. That's a hopeful phrase for you, or not phrase, like fact for you guys. I've noticed when I was growing up and I didn't really have the fear a lot, I would get it like once a year at least, or get it. I'm talking about the stomach flu, but like you can throw up from a lot of different reasons. All of them are just as bad for me. So I throw up maybe once or twice a year, and that was fine. I was like, okay, well, after 2 times, surely I won't have another episode until next year, so I'll just wait until then and not worry about it now. That's the difference. When you have emetophobia, say you feel completely fine, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm scared of that. Like you can't stop thinking about it in severe cases. Most people, it stems from a fear of losing control, which is a very anxiety-driven factor. You know, say you have anxiety before you even develop this fear, you will take that and say like, oh, well, what's gonna happen to me? Like, I'm not in control, so what's gonna happen? It's very easy to develop an eating disorder with this fear, so you have to be very mindful of that and very careful when it comes down to that, because obviously a lot of the reason people get sick has to do with what they put in their body. You know, here's one thing. The way to get a stomach flu is by swallowing the virus through your mouth. Not your eyes or your nose. You can get it through your nose. Like if you, I don't know why I'm saying all this, because obviously if you're watching this video, you have it. More than likely you have it, and you've done a lot of research, so you should know, you probably know by now, all of this stuff. Yeah, don't not eat because you're afraid of it. I have been through this so many times. My anxiety alone will make me not eat for like a week. I think a week is the longest I've went not eating because of it. Also, a reason I do that is because I'm off and on very self-conscious about my weight. I've always been a bigger girl. I've been bullied a lot over it, but nowadays it's like less common for me to go through that because I'm a grown-ass woman. Most of the time, I really just don't give a shit what you say, unless you're like close with me and I respect your opinion. If somebody comes like, hey, fat ass, you know, I'm like, hey, how are you? You know, whatever. But, yeah. So, don't do that to yourself. Get help before it gets to that point. Most cases prove to not last forever. Another hopeful fact for you guys. Yes, a lot of cases subside over time. Mine's been going strong for about 2 years now, so I'm hoping like sometime in the future. Oh my god, I'm so white. I can't even look at myself. I'm not this white in person. It's the lighting. Like, I look like a ghost. You can't even see my facial features. Hey. Anyway, yeah. On a more serious note, oh my gosh. Anyway. So yeah, don't plan on it lasting forever. I'm not saying everyone's won't last forever, but most people, it's not going to last forever. Not always caused by relative factors. The way you can get it doesn't always, I'm trying to get a good lighting, doesn't always stem from something related to that fear. Like, you don't have to have a traumatizing stomach flu to gain the fear. You can, like, you know, have emotional, physical, sexual abuse in your childhood and develop this fear. I don't know why. Maybe it's the whole losing control thing. I think mine stems a little bit from all of the above that I just said. But that can be a different video if I get the balls to say that kind of stuff. So, you know, don't always assume that, like, if it's not because of that, don't assume, like, oh, well, then why do you have... Everyone is different. You never know what one event can do to somebody that it would do completely different to you. Don't assume things, you know? I realized I had the fear when I was about 19. Here's the timeline for you. 17, I was bulimic for about a year, and I got caught. There's a car right there. I got caught. My family and my fiance practically gave me an intervention, and it was so, like, emotionally scarring for me having to go through that intervention that, like, I literally was like, nope. I don't care if I'm a fat shit for the rest. That's, like, what I thought of myself. I don't care if I'm big for the rest of my life. I'm not going through that again. Oh, and don't ever let a boy tell you you're not good enough and suggest that you go to those kind of measures to change yourself, because that's exactly why I became bulimic. I was dating a really skinny guy, and that's what he did to keep himself fit, and I'm not blaming him completely. I shouldn't have done it myself, but I did, and it was traumatic. At the time, I was in control of doing it, so it didn't bother me. 18 years old, I had a very traumatizing, while it was happening, stomach flu. It was horrible, but once it was over, I was like, okay, thank God it's over. Moving on with my life. I'm not going to worry about it again. 19, my brother got sick, and I lived with him, like, at the time. And out of nowhere, you know, I heard him getting sick in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, something in my mind was like, fuck this shit. I don't know why. It came out of nowhere. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Honestly, when you have to re-record a video 3 times, you sound like a broken record to yourself. I don't like it. Anyway. This is why you don't smoke, because you lose your lighter and it's the end of the world. At least it seems like it to you. So, oh my god, every video. Oh, found it. Okay. So yeah, I started having a panic attack. I'm shaking. I'm almost hyperventilating. I'm waking my fiance up like, hey, we need to go somewhere. It's 6 in the morning. Nowhere to go. I lay down, still shaking. And I'm like, this is it. It's the end of the world. Like, I'm going to get it and I'm going to die. Like, I don't know why I had these thoughts. They were almost like, I was almost kind of like, who are you, to myself. But I think it was a latent reaction to the bulimia and the sexual, emotional, and physical abuse I have experienced in the past, and the traumatizing stomach flu I had a year prior. It was like it all just built up at that moment. And I'm 21 now. For the past 2 years, I've been living with it on a day-to-day basis, and it is a very real thing, you know? I don't know why it happened when it did, and I don't know when it will stop, if at all, but I hope so. So that was my experience of how I feel like it came about for me, anyway. Reasons or things that it does that affect my life personally, which I'm sure it affects a lot of people's lives in like some of these ways, maybe all of them, and maybe I'm not affected the way that some people are by it, but can't leave the house sometimes. I refuse to go outside because I'm like, it's a dirty world. I don't want any part of it. I'm clean in my room. I'm safe, except for all this dirty laundry. I will have, on worst days, I will have severe anxiety and panic attacks that are so bad that, like, even my family, like, they're supportive, but even they're like, oh my god, like, stop. Always asking people if they've been sick lately. I will miss out on going to parties, if, like, you know, family gatherings, visiting my family, going out with my friends. I will miss out on a lot of stuff like that, because if I even heard they were sick in the past decade, I'm like, bye, I'm staying home. I can't always eat food that I didn't make or at all. Like I said, I've been bulimic. I will go a week without eating food sometimes, and that's not just because of this, but the anxiety I get makes me feel more self-conscious. I think like, oh, starving myself will make me lose weight. That's not the case. Honestly, yeah, you might drop a couple pounds, but when you go back to eating, it's going to be like you're going to gain it back so quickly, and it's just uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be that hungry, okay? Nobody does. I obsessively clean and wash my hands. My hands are so bad. They're discolored, rough, cracked, gross. My nails can't handle it half the time. They break all the time because I wash my hands so much, and I'm always cleaning with like bleach or disinfectant wipes and stuff, and it's horrible for your hands. Honestly, it is. It can affect personal aspects of your life, i.e. your love life. I won't go into deep deep detail about that, but I will say, at least if this gives you an idea of what I mean, I've went periods of like weeks, even a month or two, without even giving my fiance a kiss on the mouth, because I'm like, I don't know where your lips have been. Keep that away from me. My God, my face looks so chubby. I think my face swells a little when I'm anxious. Anyway, I'll stop. I'm sorry. So yeah, it can cause a damper on your relationship, and not only with your like significant other, but your family. Like, you won't even want to give your grandma a hug, your poor little defenseless grandma, shit like that. But luckily, there is some ways to help with it. If I leave any out, leave in the comments below maybe how you deal with it, or if any of these have worked for you. Big thing, learn to accept it for what it is. You don't want to, revolve your life around that. You are not an emetophobe or whatever. You are a human with other thoughts, not revolving around that, Just try not to worry about it so much and just accept it for what it is, Yeah, I have this fear. It really sucks. But don't let it, win you over. Like, don't let it define you. Like, you don't want to be that person, kind of like me, that everyone's like, oh, well, she probably won't come because she's scared of icky stuff. Some people just don't understand it because they don't have it. That's a big issue. Oh, I don't have it, so I don't understand. I don't think it's real or understand it. It's winter still, kind of, so I got a little bit of a cough. That's another thing that you'll come to realize about me. I've always had a stutter. Like, it'll come at the worst times. It's like now when I'm trying to not have one, I'll trip over my words a little bit. This ties in with the whole missing out on family things. Don't obsessively avoid it, because honestly, 9 times out of 10, if you're in a situation like a family gathering, your family's not gonna go. If they're sick, my family does. They're like, oh, well, it's fine. You'll be fine. My kids should come because it's a family thing and free food. But no, most people should have the common decency to not contaminate a family gathering. So just keep that in mind. 9.99% out of 10, like, there won't be a risk there, okay? In the winter, I can understand, because like the winter is the worst time for it. But like, 4th of July and stuff like that, like in the summer when it's real hot, the virus can't exactly thrive like it does in the cold. Try not to worry about it. If anything, do your research on how to avoid it and avoid it as best as you can. Face your fears is a big one, and probably my last one, because it's getting to be a long video, and I don't like that, because I'm like, oh, nobody's gonna sit here and watch the whole thing. Especially if I'm being unattractive and smoking the whole video. But anyway, that's one of my go-tos for anxiety. I smoke a cigarette, and typically it helps me. So, not saying you should try that, because honestly, you're just affecting your health. You're not helping it. So, anyway, yeah, face your fears. Say you are sick. Say you actually, unfortunately, come down with it, and you're freaking the fuck out. And it's like making your brain like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Don't do that, okay? Because if anything, that is going to make the chances of you actually getting sick a lot more. Because it's all your brain. Your brain tells your stomach to do that to you. Your stomach doesn't have a say in the matter, okay? It's all your brain that like sends a signal down your stomach like, hey, there's some shit in there that shouldn't be in there. So you know, eject it, you know. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, I say 9 times out of 10 a lot, but yeah, most likely if you're freaking out and having a panic attack about it and not doing your breathing exercises, it will like make the chances of it happening a lot more. I am bad with words. You're just gonna have to. Okay. So yeah, lay still, do your breathing exercises, drink something carbonated, just do your research on like ways to help with that, because honestly, a lot of people, like I said, have been through it time and time again, or at one point or another, and there's a lot of ways to try to avoid it, but if you're going to do it, face it, because honestly, it might not be as bad as your brain was leading you to believe it would have been. Okay? So, let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions. Leave a like, subscribe. Thank you.